Welcome to lesson number 4. Okay, so as we're moving along in these lessons, you're seeing that the phrases are getting more complex. There's more going on. And, the question often comes, often get the question, how long does it take to learn this language, Well, sound painting is like a spoken language. When you're learning a new language, whether you're learning French or Spanish or Swedish or something, it takes time to really become fluent in that language. But even in the first day, you might be able to learn a few words in other languages, other spoken languages, and be able to use those few words. Definitely not have a conversation, but you can use those few words. Sound painting as a sign language, actually, as the sound painter, as the person who's learning the gestures and then signing a group, signing a classroom, signing whoever, you can learn a handful of gestures in one day and apply them, almost immediately. In a sense, conceptually, it's like a piano, You might not be able to play some very complex things on the piano the first time you put your hands on it. But you can make sound by just pushing it down and pushing the keys down. It makes a sound. All sounds are good. It'll make a sound. Whereas an instrument like a flute, it's very difficult to get a sound the first day, the first moment. It's very difficult to get a sound. And in movement, it'd be very difficult to lift my leg all the way up, and so it touches the side of my head like some dancers can do. That takes time to get that kind of, but you can certainly lift your leg up. So you probably see what I'm getting at, is that you can learn quite a bit in just one lesson and take it back to your class. It's just a good idea to be able to explain the syntax to the group that you're working with so that they understand, how it's all working, what they have to watch for, the who, the what, the how sometimes, and the when. Okay, so let's get to the gestures we're going to be working with in lesson number 4. You're going to see stab freeze. Now this is a combination of words I put together. And what is a stab freeze? Well, let me stand up, I'll show you the sign. You prepare it by putting your hand in the box like this, lift your fist up, move forward into the box and make a stabbing down on your palm. Now try not to make sound. Try not to do this. Try not to make sound. Just simply bring your hand down without making any sound on top of your hand. And then to remove the stab freeze, you do this. Now, of course, what is stab freeze? I'll stab freeze myself, okay? So here I am, I'm talking away to you. I put my hand out, I'm going to stab freeze myself. And the moment that I do this, I kind of get stuck, It's like a moment of getting stuck. And a skip, kind of. If you remember, the old CD players, what's a CD? But the old CD players, it would get stuck, And in fact, that's where I got the idea for stab freeze, was when I was listening to a piece of music and the CD got stuck, and it gave me the idea wow, that's really interesting. How can I do that? So I created, how can I do that in sound painting? So I created stab freeze. So anyway, again, so I'm talking, I stab freeze myself, but of course you're doing this with your group, and you'll see I start the group, whole group, pointillism, play, and then I stab freeze the pointillism, okay? Now, stab freeze, you can have 3 different responses, really. If, I'm speaking, and I was saying, and I caught myself in the. Now, so it's, it's a consonant, so I'm going to have a pulsing, and my pulse, so to speak, in the stab freeze is exactly related to the rhythm and the tempo of what I'm playing and doing. Now, you can, so now if I was a dancer, of course, and I'm moving and then someone stab freezes me, then I might get stuck like this. Then when they take the stab freeze off, I go back to what I'm doing. So that's how it works in movement. Now, I could, if I was like I was saying the moment, and it was the. Now, I wasn't going to the. No. I wasn't speaking that fast. I have to be talking about this kind of fast. No, I wasn't speaking that rapidly. I was speaking about this sort of tempo. So the, you know, is that tempo. And I bounce on the consonant. Now, if I was making a long sound, or if I was saying hello, hello, and I got caught on the O part of hello, hello, because I'm in a vowel, using a vowel, or if I'm a musician and I'm playing a long sound, then it just stays on the long sound. It wouldn't go hello, hello, oh. No. It just go hello, how are you doing? You know? So, in other words, if a musician or someone's playing a long sound and you stab freeze them, it gets stuck on the long sound. This only is with sound. If you were doing like a long tone movement and the sound painter stab freezes me right now in this long tone movement, then I would get stuck like this. You know, I would still move, of course. All right, now if I want the stab freeze to continue, you know, then I do this, stab freeze, and I'm making my continue gesture on the vertical plane, right? This is continue, like this, normally on the horizontal plane. But this time, my stab freeze, now I like what's going on, and I want it to continue. Okay, now it's going, it's continuing, it's stuck in its stab freeze small cycle, and now I want it to go back to what was going on, so I put my hands together and I pop them off, and it goes back to what was going on before. So that's stab freeze. Get my chair. The next, synchronize. Doing exactly the same thing as somebody else. How you get a synchronization going, I mean, it depends on what's being performed, but imagine I'm saying I'm an actor and or I'm a musician, let's say, and I'm just going playing like ba-ba, 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 you know, for some reason. and the sound painter says, you know, rest of the group synchronize with percussion 1, and maybe that was me going ba-ba, ba-ba. Now everybody would synchronize to that. A dancer doing movement wouldn't make sound. They might like boom, 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 without the sound. You know what I mean? But just kind of imitating the sound with the movement of the body. Now there's not an exact pitch there, so then the pitched instruments would come as close as they can in the range of what's being performed by the ba-ba, ba-ba. Now if it was a pitched instrument, you know, going ba-da, ba-da, ba-da. Now everybody would play the same notes. They would play that minor third interval. They would play it exactly the same interval if possible. If their instrument isn't in that range, then they would come as close to that range as possible. And in this case, a percussionist playing say a drum set would come as close to that pitch range as possible. So this is synchronized. That's synchronized. Doing exactly what a performer is doing, or if the group is asked to synchronize together, like if you say whole group pointillism, play, and then the sound painter stab freeze says continue, and then says whole group synchronize, and then gives the gesture when to begin the synchronization, which we'll speak about. But in this case, you know, whole group pointillism, play, stab freeze, continue, synchronize. And now the players are trying to synchronize together. They're looking for the synchronization. They're searching for the synchronization. The search is really important. It's a very important part of synchronization for the composition. Sometimes the sound painter doesn't want a true synchronization. They just want the search going on because of what it creates. So there's a lot of stuff about synchronization that's really interesting. You can have somebody synchronize exactly with something that's going on because it's so easy to synchronize with. Or you can have a group doing some very busy kind of stuff and you stab freeze them, for example, and then you ask them to synchronize, and say it's 100 people trying to synchronize. You might get pockets of synchronization, like 9 different synchronizations, and that can be very interesting for the composition. Really interesting. So that's as far as I'll go with that. Maybe later in the lessons we'll get deeper into that. But there's a lot of ways of looking at how to use synchronization. Now, before we get away from synchronization, how do we start then, right? You can say synchronize, and like the whole group synchronize. So, say something's going on. It's easy to synchronize with. Maybe I go, whole group synchronize, and then I give a play gesture, and they have one chance to synchronize. Now, boom, synchronize there. That's it. You get that one chance. Synchronize, like whole group synchronize, and now it's progressive. They have 1 to 5 seconds to go searching for the synchronization. After 5 seconds, wherever they are, they stop. That's it. They stay on that material. And then the last one is, you would say whole group, say something is, going on and you want synchronization, and you move into the box and you hold the gesture in the box. Now I stay here as the sound painter, until the desired result, whether that is a full-blown synchronization, a real synchronization, or something along the path of synchronization that I find interesting. And then when I want it to stay there, like, okay, let's stay with this synchronization, or let's stay with that you're almost synchronized and I like that result. In either case, I would give the continue gesture, which means to stay there. Now, to break the synchronization, I'm not sure this is on the video, but gestures, but I'm going to add this. In order to break it and go back on what's going before, you do this, and it breaks the synchronization, and it goes back to whatever the material is being performed before. Okay, so let's move on. We use, different identifiers like woodwinds, percussion, singers, strings, electronics, brass, etc. But sometimes when the group is small, we use the U gesture. Now you tuck your hand in at the side, especially if it's a small group. If it's a group of 100 people, U is not going to work. But if it's a smaller group, say 10 or so in the group, you can say you, and they recognize that you mean them. So that's the U gesture. Sometimes we use that. It's kind of a wonderful gesture for a small group, and it's quick. We also have, but we have, singers, and we also have the voice, right? The voice. So this is singers, this is who, this is how, right? Imagine it's a multidisciplinary group, we say whole group, scanning with the voice. Now it's just the voices we pass by. People choose to either say something, make some kind of sound with their voice, whatever. So that's the voice. This is singers. This is the voice. This is dancers. This is movement. This is who. This is who. This is how. Singers, this is who. This is the voice. This is how. Whole group, multidisciplinary group, long tone with the voice. Now everybody sings a long tone. So you see? You see. We also have, so everybody's singing, whole group, long tone with a voice, boom. And we have mouth open, closed. This would be without, of course, singing it myself. They would be singing, long tone with the voice, be giving you a long tone with the voice, and then you can bring it down to a hum, but maintain the dynamic as much as possible. Brings down to a mouth closed. Okay, so mouth open, close, that gesture. And then the last gesture is tempo fader, going slower. You've seen this earlier, and I think it was in lesson 1. So this would be tempo fader, slowing down, speeding up. And again, on either side, any of these gestures on either side It's good to get used to it, as I was saying in lesson 1. Excuse me. Get used to being able to perform those on either side of the body. Okay, so now let's go to the performance of the gestures. See you after that.
We don't know where we come from, but we know where we've been. We don't know where we're going, but we know that we will see you there. And I'm looking forward to it because you're one of my favorite people in the world.
continuing with lesson 4. Let's talk about a couple things that happened in the video that I think were, the video of the gestures I think was very interesting. When we worked with synchronization, when I was asking the groups to synchronize, you could hear that they maintained the integrity of what they were performing while they looked for the synchronization. So you keep performing your material, you the performer, you keep performing your material while you search for who to synchronize with, or maybe to wait and hang on to your material, keep performing it to see if somebody is going to synchronize with you. When they don't, then that's when you're going to move away and look for someone to synchronize with, or some group to synchronize with. So, as I was saying in the first part of this lesson, it's very important for the sound painter to explain. It's the searching for the synchronization that is also very important. Searching for the synchronization might not result in, the sound painter might decide to when stepping into the box and using this way of beginning the synchronization, the sound painter might, as I was saying, you can hear something say, oh, I like this. It's not really a full synchronization, and just say continue, then it'll stay there, and you might have a very interesting result compositionally that comes from the searching for the synchronization. So anyway, just to let you know, as you become more fluent with the sound painting language, the gestures are used sometimes not to, yes, you can have a synchronization of a full-blown, the real deal synchronization. You can have that. But also the searching from it, the searching for it might reveal some material that you might want to use in the composition, and then you stop there and use it. So the gesture is used in multiple ways. You'll see that I ask an actor to speak. I think I said, actor speak. And actually the actor did more like a storytelling. This actor in particular is wonderful in sound painting, but he hadn't been in the group in a while. And he'd been traveling a lot, so he was a little bit tired. So he was actually doing, what we call narration, or storytelling in sound painting. Anyway, he went on with it. I just let it go on, and then I stab freezed him. And when I stab freezed him, he actually didn't stay with the tempo of his speaking, but actually produced a very fast stab freeze, like a sort of a very fluttering kind of stab freeze. And then I tried it again with him, and he produced the same thing. And then again, and he produced the same thing. And then I decided to use it, because that's how we do this in live composing. You don't want to impose your idea and constantly insist this is what I want. No, if you want to do that, then you write it down, and there it is. There's the map the performers are going to follow, or you choreograph it. But in this case, I used what the actor was doing, even though it wasn't a correct performance of stab freeze, and I used it to show some of the other gestures I spoke with you about. Then later on, you'll see that I stab freeze another actor, and this actor actually performed the stab freeze correctly. You can hear that this was the second time I stab freeze an actor. You can hear that the actor stays with the tempo of their speaking, in comparison to the first actor, who did very much like a fluttering sound. That was just an error. And these things happen, and as we always say in sound painting, there's no error, so you just work with it. Well, just a last note before I say goodbye, and next time I see you will be lesson 5, but what we're doing as live composers when we first learn sound painting is, as I was saying before in an earlier lesson, we're making a collage form composition. It's some of this, and then some of this, and then some of this, and block composing. You know, whole group long tone, play. Whole group pointillism, play. Whole group staff reeds, continue. Whole group, this is memory 1. Whole group off. Whole group scan with memory 1. So like this is an example of jumping, sort of a block composing, of jumping from idea to idea to idea. Not making a red thread or a linear link between each block. And that's the idea. This is block composing, that is the idea. And it's the easiest way to compose with sound painting when you first learn it. Later on, I'll speak with you a little bit about linear and how you do a more linear form composition. And again, just to say, yes, sorry, let me finish. So yes, later on we'll talk about linear form and what gestures in sound painting will help you realize that. Now, when I speak about composition, I'm talking about choreography or anything to do with composing in general. You know, it doesn't just refer to music, it refers to composing something with the actors, composing something with the dancers, composing something with the visual artists, with the musicians, etc. So for me, composing, I use it in a very broad sense. So that's it. And again, I suggest get in front of the mirror with these gestures and practice them ad nauseum till you are very, very clear with what the signs exactly, make those signs exact, the same way you would want to enunciate clearly when you're speaking. So enunciate those gestures, really bring them out, get in front of the mirror and really practice. And I'll see you for lesson number 5.